It was just time to really tell a great untold Detroit story, because it kind of covers Detroit at its zenith.
Very interesting story.
We decided that we were going to make a movie.
All right, Rich Rossi with you with Motown Mafia. I'm with Courtney
Louis Stevens,
Courtney Brown.
Courtney Brown Jr.
And Alan Al Prophet Bradley.
And this is an entrepreneurial, inspirational story too, because again, you know, I'm a real estate retail guy. You know, that's what my skill set is. But I'm a businessman, so I was like, you know, we're gonna do it. You know, sometimes when you got a dream, you won't have all the answers on how you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
What made this one unique was not so much the crime, but the intertwining with Detroit's history and the Motown era and kind of the economic decline of Detroit. And it's really the story of a family. And from some perspectives, it's has a happy ending, like you said. For others, it didn't have a happy
ending. Right.
What's happening, family? It is your man, CRB Jr., Courtney Robert Brown Jr. here at Big Boss Filmworks. We have a special guest here with us and in the audience. Right here sitting next to me is Mr. Scott Burnstein. What's up, Scott?
Man, thanks for kidding. I don't know if it's COVID. I mean, I got no issue. I got no issue.
Okay.
Sometimes you don't know. You go to give someone a dap and they want to, fist bump you, but I want to give them a handshake. But thanks for inviting me, man. I've always been your biggest cheerleader, and you and your pops have always been real good to me. And you guys are, I'm all about the OGs, man, and it don't get more OG than the Courtney Brown family and the Eddie Jackson family.
We appreciate that. We got in the background, he's going to come over and join us in a minute. EJ Jr.'s in the house, Real True Street Crimes in all of his glory, the Fat Man's son and all that. He's going to join in and sit in on the conversation a little bit. So yeah, Scott, update. What's going on with you, man?
So I got some real heat on my name the last couple of weeks. My documentary, White Boy, about the rise and fall of Richard White Boy Rick Wershey, who was a Detroit street icon, and had a Hollywood film made about him a couple years ago with Matthew McConaughey. We did a documentary that's been on Netflix now for going on 3 weeks, and it's been trending, and I think it's the #1 true crime documentary on the platform right now.
All right.
All right, that is awesome.
And then the first 10, 11 days, we were top 5 overall content on the whole platform. It was crazy.
On the whole platform?
The whole platform. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, awesome. 12 million people watched it in the first 6 days, 5 days.
That's it. I mean, I have to say, I did a post, and I know we go into a little bit. The documentary is so much better than the movie.
Thank you.
If you want any.
I worked on both of them, so
right. So
I can speak with quite a bit of education and knowledge on both projects. And one was frankly a nightmare. Both, I think, from my perspective as well as other people's. The film, it was a very tumultuous 3-year process. A lot of fighting, a lot of people were never really on the same page.
Right.
And as a result, you had a jumbled film, as opposed to the documentary where we were real united and cohesive, and it was a 2-year process that was real smooth and familial.
And would you say you had more creative control on the documentary and no creative control?
Yes, I would say I had complete creative control in the documentary, and I had zero creative control in the film. And I was at the filmmaker's mercy, and I got caught in a lot of political crosshairs. Some of this is just a learning curve when you get into the Hollywood space, and I've been trying to get some traction in that world for the last 5-6 years, and I think I'm making some headway, but it's a learning process. And when back in 2015, when Sony came in and bought the rights to my reporting to turn into a screenplay, and they told me there's going to be a $40 million budget, and we're going to have Matthew McConaughey, and we're going to have all these producers at the time that were coming off of the Oscar winner the previous year, which had been Birdman.
Okay.
Had just won the Oscar, so we had those people. We had Darren Aronofsky, who was one of my favorite directors and producers, who did The Wrestler and Requiem for a Dream and The Fighter. And then we had Georgia Kankakis, who is one of the top females in Hollywood, is Quentin Tarantino's main collaborator. So I just this star-studded slate of creative talent on the project, and it just could never, it just never clicked.
I hear they thought about Justin Bieber playing.
Yeah, so it was everything I ever dreamed of when this all happened, and then when we started on the journey from 2015 to when the movie came out in 18, it just it's just like, be careful what you wish for. It's just like at every turn there was fights and disagreements, and I had this, again, this is where the learning curve comes in. I had this impression that, we're making a movie. Everyone's on the same team. Everyone's on the same side of the rope, pulling in the same direction. And I quickly realized that on a film set, you have the filmmakers, the production studio that's making the film. Then you have the studio, which is the oversight and the money. And, the business and the creative often butt heads. And I was employed by the studio, so Sony was my employer. And the people that were the production company, which was a company called Studio 8 and then another company called Protozoa, just I didn't find my presence on set as helping them, I guess.
Is that a nice way of you saying you was trying to keep the story authentic?
Yeah.
And they didn't give
I was
a
getting
damn?
a lot of blowback and a lot of, you're the studio's boy, stay away from us. Studio's only there for two things. They give us the money to make the movie and then distribute the movie when the movie comes out, pretty much in between the two end zones, between the 5-yard line and the 5-yard line. That's our that's the production company saying that's our world, and you're the studio, we don't want you involved in it. And the studio then is on the other side saying, no, you need to be there to check them, for historical accuracy, but also, there's a lot of legal liability, a lot of exposure there that they needed me to help protect them.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they even mention best friends in the movie?
No.
Did they mention Demetrius in the movie?
No.
Maserati?
No.
None of that East Side mayhem?
The only,
The Currys,
they mentioned the
Big
Currys,
Man and Little
and they
Man.
mentioned Little Ed Hansard.
Did they mention Little Ed?
Ed was-
Big Ed brothers.
Oh, Big.
I just did the story.
He's little.
He's a
He's
short
little, but
man,
they called him so big.
big in stature.
Or Black Ed, Eddie Money, had lots of different nicknames.
Freaky Steve.
No, Freaky
No.
Steve was in the film. That was Rick's best friend. That wasn't
That wasn't the Freaky Steve.
That was Freaky Steve, who got killed by Rock and Reg in September of '87. It was White Boy Rick's right hand man.
Because I thought it was just a Hollywood mistake. Because there's a famous guy from the Brewster Projects ran around.
That was Freaky Steve?
Eddie's no Freaky Steve. That goes back.
different Freaky Steve then.
Yeah, Hucklebuck's man, Freaky Steve. Yeah, from the projects, it's Straw the Butch man, Freaky Steve.
Freaky Steve. Yeah,
But
so I thought they were trying to play on
That man.
that name.
no,
of Freaky
Rick's right hand man was Freaky Steve Roussel, who
And he
didn't
felt-
really have a role in the film. I mean, he was in a couple scenes. They didn't really explain who he was. But in reality, he was a major player and got killed by the best friends. Happened to be a witness to Rick's case.
Yeah.
Who
So-
didn't get killed by the best friend?
Right. So, hey fellas. So, Ed Hanser was
Uncle
played.
Butch.
What's on there?
We got all more celebrities started coming in
What's
here.
that?
Interrupt.
All the street legends.
All the street legends coming in here.
What's up, fat boy?
There you go, the Black
God
Dispatch. How you feeling, man?
All right.
What's good, baby?
Let me get back to this though.
So,
Quiet on the set for a minute.
Yeah, you looking like this.
Ed Hanser was played by Danny Brown, who's a local Detroit rapper. And I will say that one of the only scenes that I enjoyed from the film was the scene that was playing Run DMC over the scene, and they're in Las Vegas.
Eddie.
They're in Las Vegas, and Johnny Curry breaks a bottle over Ed Hansard's head.
Is that who that's supposed to be?
Yeah. No, that never happened. There was never a fight between Johnny Curry and Ed Hansard.
Right.
But in the film, they made it look like Ed Hansard was making fun of Johnny for not having tickets to the fight. And then Johnny gets mad, and as the music playing, takes a champagne bottle out of ice and runs over to the other side of the bar and breaks it over Hansard's head. That scene I enjoyed. I like the Run DMC music. I like the feel of that particular scene. But that was really Ed Hansard's role in the movie.
Wow.
There was a great scene that if they just would have shot the original script, this would have been an unforgettable film that people would be talking about for decades. The original script was so powerful and so fun, and there was nothing fun about what ended up on screen. And you can't have a great gangster movie, you can't have a great true crime movie that doesn't give your viewer some joy, like you're riding a roller coaster.
No, you came out of that movie real depressed.
You came depressed, yeah. But there was an awesome scene that I helped them craft that they ended up cutting from the film, which was based on a real life situation that Rick was there when it happened, when it was Ed Hansard and Maserati Rick, and they were fighting over how much money they each had on them that day.
Okay.
So they sat up. I think it might have been at the Lady. It was at a bar.
Lady on Jefferson.
That everyone was hanging out at.
Ladies.
Yeah, and I guess they picked up. They got a table and they just start taking out their money, and they're just like, Ed's taking out stacks. And Maserati's taking out stacks, and Maserati's sending people, go out to my car and get those stacks in my car. And they're like stacking them up, and then at the end they're counting and see who had the most money on them. And I'm like, that's an awesome scene.
That would have been a real Detroit scene.
Yeah, and they just I think this kind of sums it up in my mind. The director, Yann Demange, who at the time when he was given the opportunity to direct this movie, was viewed as like, the next big thing in Hollywood directing. He was like a LeBron James or a Zion Williamson, where he was just perceived as the number one draft pick. And he got up at the premiere in Detroit, and he talked about getting the first script in his hands, and he said, "I got the first." He has a British accent. "No, I got the first script in my hands, and immediately I looked at it, and I'm like, this is like Scarface meets Goodfellas meets Blow." I'm like, I can't do that movie. And I'm like, no! Like, that's the movie you should have made.
That's the movie.
Scarface meets Goodfellas meets Blow.
Whoa,
that's a perfect movie.
That is a perfect.
Why are you saying that that's not what you can do?
Because that was
It was not artistic enough for him. He wanted it to be kind of an art film where it was about a father and a son, and it really had nothing to do with the drug world. And as a result, that's what you got. And the studio...
Maybe one day it'll get done again.
Well, here's what I think is going to happen, and I hope I'm involved with it when it does. I sense that because of the success of the doc on Netflix and the renewed interest in him now, it's really like that movie didn't even really exist. There are so many people that don't know about that movie. The last couple of years, I've been in a lot of meetings out in Hollywood in the entertainment industry, and when I'm introduced to people in the industry, a lot of times I'm introduced as, oh, he worked on the White Boy Rick film. And this is people that their livelihoods are movies.
Right.
And this was a movie with Matthew McConaughey.
And
they have no idea what they're talking about. These are Hollywood executives that don't know this movie existed. So, but in some ways that's good though, because I think
it gives another shot.
It gives it another shot. So I sense that there probably won't be another movie, but I think there's a good chance there could be something scripted in the television space that comes in and either swoops up Rick's story as a whole, or swoops up a Detroit story and Rick becomes a character. I can talk I can give a little bit of inside knowledge on the new Black Mafia Family show.
Yeah, talk to us about that. So, again, you get it here first. Big Boss Filmworks, breaking news.
So,
Because you've been all over both of those. I mean, tell me about.
I've done some consulting for the
Of
Black
all
Mafia
of
Family
the
show.
crime study, I mean, you really researched obviously the White Boy Rick thing, like from beginning to end, and the BMF story.
Yeah, I would say that my three signatures in terms of things that I feel the most expertise on would be, especially when we're talking Detroit, White Boy Rick, Jimmy Hoffa, Black Mafia.